Welcome to Light Novel Sound, where we bring stories to life. Get ready for an epic journey through Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, a story filled with action, mystery, and mind-blowing twists. A huge thank you to Sing-Shong for crafting this incredible story. If you enjoy this audiobook, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, sit back, relax, and let's begin. Chapter 31, Episode 7, Landlord, 5. As I watched the surging wave of monsters, I gave strength to my thighs. The level 15 strength condensed at once and my feet developed a strong propulsion force. The ground rats ran from all directions and the hard horns of the grolls flew from unexpected places. My skin, which was tempered by the level 15 stamina, became bruised and bloody from the grolls' horns. The number 1 bookmark has been activated. Bookmark was activated and Kim Namwoon's blackening wrapped around my body. I pushed away all the monsters coming from the front. Fangs burrowed into my body and a few ground rats bit my thighs. However, I didn't stop. Run and run again. Over here. Finally, the original wall was visible. I jumped over the ground rats. There was a green zone for 2 people shining. By the way, shit. Green zone 1/2. There was already someone inside. I forgot about the monsters coming from behind and stared at him. There was a guy who should never be there. Hey! He turned to me. Can't you get out? You don't even need to stay in here. It is difficult. I am tired today. I pushed to punch this asshole's face. I didn't understand. This wasn't the 3rd regression Yo Jong-hyuk that I knew. In Ways of Survival, it was written that Yo Jong-hyuk only found the first hidden green zone in the 4th regression. Damn, did he know about this place since the 2nd regression and it just wasn't described? Then why didn't he originally use it in the 3rd regression? Growling. There were the cries of the ground rats chasing me from behind. It was too late to blame the writer. I could feel Lee Gil-young's breathing. I stared into Yo Jong-hyuk's eyes. We spoke at almost the same time. Take the kid. Give me the child. Still, it was lucky. The constellations would hear my words. Green zone 2/2. I moved Lee Gil-young and the mark of the green zone changed. Now Lee Gil-young was safe. Hyung. Wait a minute. Hyung. Lee Gil-young urgently tried to rush towards me but Yo Jong-hyuk's hand restrained him. I swung my sword towards the ground rats. The constellation Bald General of Justice has closed his eyes. The constellation demon-like Judge of Fire is watching you with uncomfortable eyes. At the last minute, Yo Jong-hyuk's eyes seemed to move. I told you that you would die. The waves of monsters headed towards me. Now there were no more green zones remaining. I won't die. I ignored the monsters and put a hand in my pocket. In fact, I really didn't want to use this. I couldn't be assured that there would be no after effects. Now I had to believe in the 4th wall. That? Yo Jong-hyuk's eyes shook with surprise. This bastard, did he find out? Well, I wouldn't have known this method without him. I looked down at the white stone shining in the palm of my hand. Spectre's Stone. It was an item I gained by hunting specters on the way to Chungnuro. Hundreds of ground rats started biting at my body. I was bleeding from minor wounds and the shoulders struck by the grolls' horns were red with blood. As the durability of my body rapidly diminished, I put the stone into my mouth. Then something like water vapor started to emerge from my mouth. The water vapor formed a fog that covered me. The welcome prison is activated. The ground rats and grolls stopped attacking me at once. Everything around me started to distort. The platform, Yo Jong-hyuk and Lee Gil-young calling out to me. I became a ghost. Doctor! I noticed as soon as I heard my mother's voice. This was a dream. I tried not to get caught up in it but it wasn't easy this time. The floor sank like a quagmire and swallowed me. Due to excessive immersion, the influence of 4th wall has temporarily weakened. Scenes started to weave in front of me, no matter what I wanted. A living room covered with blood. The cold body of a man. The back of a woman looking down at the body. No. This memory was difficult to remember. I couldn't remember it. I shook my head furiously and the scene in front of me scattered. This damn trauma. It was a memory I didn't want to see. This was why I was reluctant to eat the Spectre's Stone. The Spectre's Stone temporarily made the user a ghost and turned them invisible to monsters. But it has a side effect of causing the user's trauma to peak. That's why I didn't give it to the other party members. If it had been used by someone other than myself, they might have turned into a madman. Times. I had to endure, even if my head was hurting like crazy. Certainly, the fourth wall was a scam. The skill would even be able to eat away at this stone. I wouldn't see this effect even with the superior mental barrier. Where was it? If my guess was correct, this skill. Yo Jonghyuk? Are you Yo Jonghyuk? I thought a trauma had started again, but it wasn't my voice. It wasn't a voice created by my memories. I looked back and saw a strange woman. You aren't Yo Jonghyuk. I think you are Korean, but who are you? A dazzling blonde foreigner. She was a little girl with a short height. The girl looked at me for a long time with an incomprehensible expression. That, I don't understand. I've seen the future a number of times, but I've never seen you before. In the girl's left eye, an ominous red swirl could be seen. The pages flashed in my head. I knew this person. No, there was absolutely no way I couldn't know her. In this case, the exclusive skill, character list is activated. The character Anna Croft is using Mental Barrier LV6. Character list ignores Mental Barrier LV6. There is too much information about this person. Character list is converted to summary list. Character summary. Name, Anna Croft. Attribute, Prophet, Legend, Savior, Legend. Exclusive skills, Future Sight LV5, Past Sight LV4, Insight LV8, Clairvoyance LV4, Advanced Magic Training LV4, Mental Barrier LV6, Lie Detection LV7, Great Demon's Eyes LV1. A woman who could ignore space constraints and freely enter the consciousness of other people. A woman who saw the future and tried to design the future of the world. There was only one woman with such a way of thinking in ways of destruction. Anna Croft. How do you know me? Her eyes widened and she glared at me. I replied quietly, I'm a prophet. The character Anna Croft has triggered lie detection LV7. Lie detection has confirmed that your words are false. Indeed, I couldn't lie to a true prophet. Reveal your true identity. Who are you? Her small lips were tightly closed. It looked as though she was protesting. I anticipated how the situation would roughly occur. The woman noticed my presence, perhaps because the influence of fourth wall temporarily weakened. If fourth wall was really the skill I thought it was. By the way, it was disappointing. Do you really not know who I am? Hey! Didn't I send you the Ichthyosaur's core? Anna's lips slowly widened. You must have implanted the great demon's eyes with the power of the core. Right. Then you asked for broken faith? Great demon's eyes. It was a huge 1 million coin item that was taken by this woman with a damn diamond sponsor. I felt envious. You. What is your name? How? The influence of the exclusive skill fourth wall is slowly returning. Why can't I see anything? Her eyes became blurred. The influence of the great demon's eyes, which could interfere with the consciousness of others, weakened and her figure gradually faded. I waved my hands. Someday we will meet. Wait across the continent. The exclusive skill fourth wall has been completely restored. Anna completely disappeared. I sighed with relief. In fact, my spirit had been fluctuating back and forth when talking to Anna Croft. It wasn't very good. Due to the skill effect, immunity to welcome prison has occurred. Damn it, the effect took place too late. I felt my consciousness clear up. The discomfort still remained, but it was much better than before. I took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. I looked at the distinct facts one by one in order to regain my rationality. I am Kim Dokja. The world was destroyed. Ways of survival had become reality. This was welcome prison. I ate the specter's stone and was a ghost for a while. If I was a ghost, I wouldn't be attacked by the underground species. Yes, that's right. So, the world looked like this. In the midst of the landscape that seemed like I had eaten drugs, the flow of time was hardly noticeable. I became a bit uneasy. What happened to Yo Sanga, Lee Hyun-sung and Jung Hee-won? That Jong-hyuk bastard, did he kill Gil-young? Was the third scenario still in progress? What if there were still ground rats around? Were the grolls circling in order to eat me? If so, Hyung, please. Dr. Sai. Voices flashed through my head. The exclusive skill permanent LV1 is activated. TL, temporary name. The skill hasn't appeared before, and there is no explanation. The Korean used for it is usually used for perm. I highly doubt that is right, so I went with permanent. I will change if I get more information later. Yes, it was time to go back. I breathed out roughly. There was a soft texture touching my cheek. Dr. Sai. The fog faded and my vision became clear. The first thing that I saw was Yo Sanga's face. Lee Hyun-sung and Jung Hee-won's worried faces also appeared. The scenario? It ended, Dr. Sai. We did it. We did it. I see. We did it. I looked at the agitated party members and tried to move my body. I had remained stiff for a long time and my muscles barely listened to me. Don't be too pleased. Here. Only one day has passed. Yesterday was the third day. Lee Hyun-sung caught me as I tried to get up. Dr. Sai. It isn't possible. You haven't slept at all. What time is it now? It is 8:30 a.m. 30 minutes have passed since the scenario ended. 8:30. Fortunately, not too much time passed. By the way, there was a face missing. Where is Gil-young? Ah, Gil-young. Before Jung Hee-won spoke, I already discovered where Jung Hee-won was. Lee Ji-hai and Yo Jong-hyuk were looking down at Lee Gil-young a few steps away. No, what was that bastard Yo Jong-hyuk doing? At this moment, I remembered how Yo Jong-hyuk was surprised when he saw my party. Don't tell me, when Yo Jong-hyuk used Sage's eyes? When? You have chosen. Obvious never, before. Due to the after effects of using the stone, Yo Jong-hyuk's voice wasn't heard properly. Then Lee Gil-young started talking. It is okay. You really won't go with me? Yes. You can become much stronger with me than with him. You still won't go? Yes. I won't. Stupid kid. Yo Jong-hyuk frowned and looked my way. Exclusive skill, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint Stage 2 has been activated. Lucky guy. He will be helpful, so let's keep him a little longer. I wanted to say something but I had no energy in my body. Dr. Hyung. Once he discovered that I woke up, Lee Gil-young rushed towards me with swollen eyes. Yo Jong-hyuk's thoughts still rang in my head. There is no time to delay. I have to finish the attack today. Otherwise... Attack? What was he talking about? I had to think. Damn, I'm too tired. As I relaxed my body, the softness of the thigh I was lying on touched my cheek again. Yo Sangasai. Why yes. Sorry, I'm going to sleep a bit. Then I fell asleep. It was a sweet sleep without any dreams. I woke up 2 hours later. Hey, how long are you going to sleep? I opened my eyes at the loud and unpleasant voice. This time, the texture against my cheek was much thicker and harder than before. Ah? Dr. Sai woke up. Smiling lips. Jung Hee-won was looking down at me. Yo Sangasai took a break. We didn't sleep well last night. I turned my head and saw Yo Sanga sleeping against a wall. Jung Hee-won smiled. By the way, is Lee Hyun-sung's thigh comfortable? I turned and saw Lee Hyun-sung drooling. Today in the morning, the on-call officer will conduct the duties. I thought the height of the pillow wasn't right. It turned out to be Lee Hyun-sung's thigh. It was an army pillow with a bloody smell. Dr. Hyung. I felt a heavy feeling on my stomach and looked down to see Lee Gil-young leaning against me and sleeping. The moment I carefully raised my body, I heard Bi-hyung's voice. Haha, you are awake? Then take this. Messages poured into my ears. The constellation demon-like Judge of Fire is sad about your trauma. The constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon is interested in your past. The constellation Secretive Plotter is wondering about your mother. The constellations have sponsored you 1,800 coins. Sons of a bitches. They were trying to steal a peek at my past. This wasn't the end. You have endured Chungmuro's night without the green zone. You have accomplished the never-ending dawn achievement at Chungmuro Station. You have earned 1,000 coins as an achievement reward. Coins possessed, 22,650 C. I had achieved the target amount. I didn't experience a hard night for nothing. This time Jung Hee-won asked. What should we do today? Like yesterday? No, not today. That only works for one day. Of course, if we were lucky then we might be able to find the randomly generated green zone. Unfortunately, there was no detailed description of the location of the green zones on day 4 in Ways of Survival. Then, Jung Hee-won's expression became dark. But it was unnecessary worry. Today we will completely end the third scenario. Hey! I carefully laid Lee Gil-young and got up. It wasn't originally planned but I couldn't wait after hearing Yo Jong-hyuk's thoughts. Yesterday, he had no choice but to buy time. However, the story was different today. I will drag out the landowners. How? Jung Hee-won asked and I looked at Lee Hyun-sung, who was sleeping deeply. I have to use the secret weapon that I saved. Now it was time to change the owner of Chungmuro. Chapter 32, Episode 8, Emergency Defense, 1. Lee Hyun-sung was dozing like an officer on duty. Perhaps there would be such a description in Ways of Survival. And maybe there was this sentence. Maybe Lee Hyun-sung didn't know. What would happen to him today? Hyun-sung sigh. Him, I fell asleep for a moment. Dr. Sai, are you well rested? Yes, I'm fine. By the way, you were talking. Officer on duty. Really? Something about second-class soldier Lee Hyun-sung. Lee Hyun-sung's face turned red. Just a trauma from my days as a soldier. Days as a soldier? Isn't Lee Hyun-sung an officer? I was transferred to the 3rd unit when I was a corporal. I heard these cases are rare. You must have been well suited for the army. Lee Hyun-sung laughed. It was a laugh that I could understand. There were few people well suited for the army. The people who remained didn't fit elsewhere. Then it was time to throw a small stone. Still, I'm glad that Lee Hyun-sung Sai is here. Hey! I'm relieved when Lee Hyun-sung Sai blocks in front. It feels like someone is protecting me. Is that so? Lee Hyun-sung smiled slightly. It was a weak smile, but it was certainly a comforting smile. After exchanging brief greetings, I separated from Lee Hyun-sung. In the original 3rd round development of Ways of Survival, Lee Hyun-sung experienced a character evolution by protecting the people at Gumho Station from the Kyeoldu group. But Jung Hee-won took that chance. Now Yo Sanga, Jung Hee-won and Lee Gil-young were approaching me. I faced them. Did you see the demonstration? Just do what I did. Yes. Well, pretty much. But why do we have to do this? There was a reason for it. The character Lee Hyun-sung has started to feel responsible. Lee Hyun-sung was currently wiping his shield with an innocent expression. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint was a scam. At least, as far as characters went. I want to help Hyun-sung Sai. He looks a bit down these days. Won't he feel better if you cheer him up? I said this for Lee Hyun-sung's sake. The innocent Yo Sanga nodded her head. Is it the saying dance like a while at praise? It is similar. I understand. I'll give it a try. Unlike Yo Sanga, Jung Hee-won had an uncertain expression. Dr. Sai. Yes. Dr. Sai's sponsor isn't something like one-eyed fortune teller, right? What is that? You don't know? Well, there was something like this. For a moment, I thought that Jung Hee-won might be the writer of Ways of Survival. For example, Gung Yi was the one-eyed Metria. It isn't that. I have a special skill. It is a skill that understands people well. I don't know if I want to ask, so I won't. Thank you. But have you ever used it on me? I almost showed emotions on my face. It was fortunate that Jung Hee-won didn't have lie detection. I looked at Lee Gil-young and said, I only use it on men. Oh my! It wasn't a lie. I haven't read Jung Hee-won's heart. So far. Anyway, I am asking everyone to do this. First is Jung Hee-won Sai, then Yo Sanga and Gil-young is last. Please take it in turns to speak to him. Oh my, I really believe in Hyan Sung Sai. That type of feeling. Please don't go so far. Sai, I am really going to die. Still, she needed to do it. In order for this plan to succeed, Lee Hyan-sung's attribute evolution was absolutely necessary. I would have planned a bit sooner if I knew Yo Jong-hyuk would act like this, but if we tried hard, I should be able to see the result today. In fact, they seem to be doing well. Hyan Sung Sai is really dependable. You are like a pine tree. Haha, thank you Hyun Sai. My favorite song is Green Pine. The character Lee Hyun-sung feels proud. I didn't ask. The character Lee Hyun-sung feels a bit sullen. I don't think I've seen a righteous person like Hyan Sung Sai. That isn't the case. Still, thank you. Yo Sanga Sai. The character Lee Hyun-sung has started to worry about justice. Hyun-sung Hyung has the best muscles. Thank you, everyone. The character Lee Hyun-sung has increased his self-esteem. It was fortunate that Lee Hyun-sung was a simple person and such empty praises worked well. After repeating the same conversation several times like this, the system messages started to change. The character Lee Hyun-sung is waiting for a chance to evolve his attribute. Okay. It went smoothly. Yo Sanga asked in a slightly worried tone. But I think Hyan Sung Sai is a bit burdened. Yo Sanga was really nice. Even in this situation, she was concerned about someone else's heart. I didn't have that ability. Maybe a bit. But it is necessary. There are some people in the world who become stronger as they carry more burdens. Don't worry. And, Gil-young, did you do what I asked? Yes, Hyung. Lee Gil-young replied from next to Yo Sanga. On his head, there was a pair of small cockroaches like they were antennae. That Nuna, she is on B1. Thank you. Lee Hyun-sung was good. Now it was time to steal the power of others. I walked up the stairs alone. The people of the Landlord Alliance welcomed me as I went up. Haha, who is this? If it isn't the illegal tenant. You are coming up here after doing well. Did you really survive yesterday without a room? Did Yo Jong-hyuk help you? I ignored them and kept walking. The Landlord Alliance members kept talking, as if they thought I was scared. Isn't it hard to live with Yo Jong-hyuk? Enter our alliance. Pildusai said he would let you. I didn't care and counted the remaining green zones on every floor. 1, 2, 3. In order for this plan to succeed, I couldn't miss a single one. Of course, under the condition that you bring both women. Now there were 11 green zones remaining. The number had reduced a lot after yesterday's scenario. It was a close number to carry out the plan. Hey, are you ignoring me now? I'm listening. Tell him I'm thinking about it. The alliance members looked at each other and chuckled at my words. They could laugh like that now. I was walking up the escalator when a blade suddenly reached my neck. I felt very few signs it was coming. There was only one skill that boasted this type of concealed movements in the beginning. Ghost Walk. I'm disappointed, a juicy. Li Jihai. A proud girl with outstanding fighting skills. She wasn't chosen by the Duke of Loyalty and Warfare for nothing. A juicy, don't you know what will happen to those women if you make a deal with them? I know. Do you really know? Yesterday, wouldn't you rather die? I shrugged. Put away the sword. Let's talk. Talk? You came to find me on purpose. Yes. Li Jihai put away the sword. I followed behind Li Jihai. Li Jihai walked from B1 to the ticket barrier at the entrance. We seemed to walk for a while. What did you want to talk about? But why are you standing there? Master told me to defend this place. Defend? That's why I can't let you pass. Li Jihai touched the ticket gate and drew her hand across her neck. I looked at the passage beyond the ticket gate. There were exit numbers leading to the ground. But not all numbers led to the ground. At that moment, I had an ominous feeling. That Yo Jong-hyuk, surely he wasn't trying that route? If Yo Jong-hyuk wanted to protect this place, there was only one reason. As the scenario was in progress, he was secretly trying to attack the hidden dungeon of Chungnuro. Hidden dungeon attack. It sounded good. In fact, it wasn't bad if the main character became stronger. The problem was that this dungeon was a place that Yo Jong-hyuk couldn't clear until the end of the third regression. It looked like I should finish this quickly. I need your help. My help? Today, I will shatter Gong Pildu's party. Are you serious? Li Jihai looked at me like she was trying to see my heart. Your understanding of the character Li Jihai has increased. A juicy isn't strong enough. You won't be able to get rid of them. Even if you help me? Li Jihai's head jerked like her pride was damaged. It was natural. Li Jihai had already challenged Gong Pildu the first day she came to this station. Then she ran away. If Yo Jong-hyuk hadn't appeared to rescue her, she would be dead. I have a way. I can do it if you help me. Master told me to stay here. If you don't help, most of the people here will die. People will die anyway. Did Yo Jong-hyuk say that? Li Jihai's eyes shook. The boy we talked to yesterday is dead. Do you understand? I know. Maybe he could have lived. Then today, he would be rushing at us to tell us about Yo Jong-hyuk. That. Yo Jong-hyuk killed him. He could have saved him. I felt complicated while talking. I noticed that I wasn't much different from Yo Jong-hyuk. The subway, Gumho Station. I ignored people I might have been able to save because my safety was being threatened. But hypocrites could speak plausible words. I saw the video of your scenario when I was on the subway. Li Jihai's small shoulders shook. It was a video where you killed your friend to survive. Stop. In fact, you didn't want to do that. The character Li Jihai is greatly disturbed. What do you know? I know what I know. Of course I don't know. I'm just talking to myself. But since I am talking, I wanted to say this. If you turn away today, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Definitely. The character Li Jihai has fallen into deep agony. I didn't know the human Li Jihai, but I knew the character Li Jihai. This girl was a loyal subordinate of Yo Jong-hyuk. But that was a story for the future, not now. She admired Yo Jong-hyuk's strength, but she was essentially different from Yo Jong-hyuk. Li Jihai opened her mouth a few minutes later. If I help, people can live. Not everyone, but some will survive. What should I do? I will start at 7 o'clock this evening. I told her the plan. In order to implement this plan, Li Jihai needed to do the things I told her. Li Jihai stared blankly and opened her mouth. Are you sane? You will really do this? Yes. Honestly, I don't think it will work. I'll tell you in advance. I don't think I can help. The choice is yours. She said this, but Li Jihai would surely move. She was the person who was chosen by the Duke of Loyalty and Warfare. The constellation's secretive plotter likes your impudence. 100 coins have been sponsored. Lee Ji-hai's sponsor likes you. 100 coins have been sponsored. Now all the preparations were finished. Chapter 33, Episode 8, Emergency Defense, 2. It was finally the promised time. I gathered on the Line 3 platform with the party. Every member was checking their weapons. Lee Hyun-sung seemed to have handled it properly. I did as Dr. Sai asked. Since the weapons they had used so far were very old, I asked Lee Hyun-sung to produce new weapons. The materials were from the Grade 8 underground species, the Groll that were killed in the struggle last night. The blades and spears were made by cutting the horns of the Groll. They weren't long enough, but they were appropriate as a temporary measure. Jung Hee-won smiled like she was satisfied. Isn't this much lighter and durable? Ah. Dr. Sai, Hyun-sung Sai. Thank you very much. Yo Sanga bowed. The Groll's horn couldn't be used to make a blunt weapon, so only Lee Gil-young was still carrying a weapon from a ground rat. Lee Gil-young was silently gazing at the ground. This sulking child. I stroked his head and said, "It won't be easy. This situation can be more dangerous than yesterday. Are you all ready?" The party members nodded. Then we will start. From now on, it was a fight against time. We had to work as quickly as possible before the Landlord Alliance noticed the situation. Jung Hee-won, Yo Sanga, and Lee Gil-young disappeared to their respective floors for their missions, while I started climbing the stairs with Lee Hyun-sung. Lee Hyun-sung spoke in a voice without any confidence. Dr. Sai, I am unsure. He was the core of this operation. He shouldn't be talking like this. I deliberately answered in a strong voice. It will be fine. However, Lee Hyun-sung's face was still timid. I think that people are relying on me more than they should. I'm not sure I can do well. Hyun-sung Sai is a dependable person. Thank you for saying so. In fact, this is my first experience. When I was in the army, I never got someone's trust like this. It was the first time I've heard this story. That reminded me, I didn't really know about Lee Hyun-sung's army life. Ways of Survival only mentioned it in passing. Once this is over, I want to hear Hyun-sung Sai's story. I said it casually, but Lee Hyun-sung was more shaken than I thought. The character Lee Hyun-sung has started to open his heart to you. Your understanding of the character Lee Hyun-sung has greatly increased. Sometimes I feel strange when talking to Dr. Sai. Here? Why? It seems like you knew me from a long time ago. I can't explain it well. Lee Hyun-sung scratched his head and trailed off. I don't mean anything strange. I know what you mean. Thank you. I'm also curious about Dr. Sai's story. My story? Yes. I have never seen a person like Dr. Sai before. I'm curious about what you did before this happened. Somehow, I felt a bit strange. The supporting cast of the novel I read was curious about me. I had a bit uncomfortable and had an itchy feeling. It isn't very interesting. I still want to hear it. Suddenly, a question popped into my head. If Ways of Survival hadn't become reality, would Lee Hyun-sung be living in the same world as me? Or did the novel suddenly emerge as a reality? I didn't know. One thing was for sure. Lee Hyun-sung was now a living person in front of me. Oh, Yo Jong-hyuk's friend. Did you come to negotiate? At this time, a number of middle-aged men came forward. Chung Muro's Landlord Alliance. Him, but where are the women? The middle-aged man who spoke was holding a woman by her hair. She was part of the group that had been in the 5 spaces green zone just yesterday. The man laughed at my gaze. This friend didn't see her land. This matter doesn't concern you. Save me. Help me. The woman was gazing at me pitifully. In my head, the constellations of the absolute good started clamoring. But I waited. It was because I had someone who would act instead of me. Let her go. It was Lee Hyun-sung. Who are you? Lee Hyun-sung looked at me after the middle-aged man's question. It was like he was asking for permission. I nodded. The character Lee Hyun-sung wants to practice justice of his own will. The character Lee Hyun-sung is about to evolve. The Allied members pulled out their weapons and exerted a tremendous momentum. I checked the time. It was time to begin. I raised my stats with my coins. 1,200 coins have been invested into stamina. Stamina LV 15-stamina LV 18. Your stamina level has increased dramatically. 1,200 coins have been invested into strength. Strength LV 15-strength LV 18. Your strength level has increased dramatically. This was the maximum efficiency with minimal investment. Coins possessed, 20,450 C. I had another place to spend the remaining coins. Kwang! Small blasts were heard all over the subway. A big and small uproar followed. It was the signal. Hyun-sung Sai. Lee Hyun-sung nodded. We ran forward towards the men in the front row. The confused alliance members shouted. What, you bastards? The exclusive skill White Pure Star Energy has been activated. Sukakak. Kayak. The arm of the middle-aged man holding the woman's head flew away. The middle-aged men froze at the blood that emerged. Lee Hyun-sung and I ignored them and kept running. The middle-aged men belatedly chased after us. These crazy guys. Stop them. A corridor on B2. It was the private land of Gong Pildu. You have invaded private property. Surround them. The alliance members waiting in front discovered us. Some of the alliance members were missing, so there were less than expected. 20 in the back, 12 in the back. However, it was still a lot of people. Well, I had no intention of dealing with all of them. The moment I was about to clash with the alliance members, Lee Hyun-sung moved ahead of me with a steel shield. The character Lee Hyun-sung has used the Stigma Great Mountain Push LV1. Kwakakakak. Lee Hyun-sung used his tremendous muscle strength and they fell like dominoes. The character Gong Pildu has activated Armed Zone LV4. Turrets started to rise from all over the territory. The turrets were charged with red magic bullets and were prepared to fire. There were 5 mini-turrets. The level of Armed Zone had rised again. Dok Jisai. I overtook Lee Hyun-sung and at the same time, I received his shield. As soon as the solid shield entered my hand, a stunning shock from a bullet pushed me away. Kwang! 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 It was heavy, as if I was hit by a cannon. The arm holding the shield was in pain. The level 19 magic power was strong. But I had to hold on. The compensation effect of Unbroken Faith has increased stamina to level 20. A toughness that is one step higher has protected your body. A cheeky tenant is here. Beyond the voice, I heard Gong Pildu's gruff voice. Our feet were tied up by the powerful magic bullets while the alliance members were still chasing us. The durability of the iron shield was falling. Now it could only block a dozen magic bullets in the future. Gong Pildu spoke like it was interesting. I don't think you came here to pay a fine. What is going on? Now I will quit being a tenant. How interesting. Are you coveting my land? We'll see. More than that. Some of the trespassers' stats are reduced by the effect of Gong Pildu's private land. It had started. This was why Gong Pildu's power was scary. The special effect of Armed Zone was a private land debuff. Red magic power started condensing on the turrets. The character Gong Pildu is preparing the strengthened magic bullets. As long as the combo of private land and Armed Zone wasn't broken, there were very few incarnations who could deal with Gong Pildu. Die! The moment that the enhanced magic bullets were about to be launched, I heard the screams of people from far away. The wounded Landlord Alliance members were rushing to this side. P. Pildusai. The land. There were signs they were injured by something sharp. Lee Jihai had moved. Now was the time. I looked at Lee Hyun-sung. Hyun-sung Sai, now. Lee Hyun-sung's eyes were shaking. Smash it! Lee Hyun-sung raised his fists up high. He looked uneasy and irritated, but there was also a firm determination not to retreat. The character Lee Hyun-sung has evolved. There was a blinding light and silver aura started to appear around Lee Hyun-sung's BDY. I was a bit emotional at the sight. Lee Hyun-sung's character evolution was one of the scenes I liked most in Ways of Survival. It was the reason why Steel Sword Lee Hyun-sung was called one of the strongest supporting characters. That is, due to the character evolution, a new stigma has been opened. When it came to one blow, Lee Hyun-sung was considered one of the strongest in Ways of Survival. The character Lee Hyun-sung has used the stigma Great Mountain Smash LV1. Pale magic power gathered around Lee Hyun-sung's fist, and within seconds, Lee Hyun-sung's arms became big enough to transcend common sense. Heart! Lee Hyun-sung's fists flammed down onto the ground. Kwang! There was a loud sound and the fragments of the broken floor scattered in the air. The alliance members screamed. What? Jajajajajok. Dangerous cracks spread across the ground and the positions of the turret started to twist. The magic bullets were fired towards the wrong place. An explosion spread and dust clouds rose. Then after a while, coo 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 coo. There was a great vibration and the ground of B2 started to collapse. The green zone has been destroyed. The character Gong Pildu's private land has been destroyed. I looked at the collapsing ground and grinned towards Gong Pildu. Let's go back to the days when we didn't have our own land. Chapter 34, Episode 8, Emergency Defense, 3. I couldn't kill Gong Pildu because he was useful in future scenarios, but I needed Gong Pildu to leave his land. This was a difficult dilemma, so I focused on the premise of the dilemma. For example, if he was on private land, then I had to destroy the private land. He is out. This dog. However, using this method required strong force. An overwhelming force that could destroy a huge private land in one blow. That's why I hastened to evolve Lee Hyun-sung. Look. The people who fell down to the third underground floor groaned with pain. The operation was a success. The green zones disappeared and the landlords lost their rooms. Gong Pildu's face was covered with dust and looking this way. As he was about to open his mouth, Bi Hyung's voice entered their ears. What are you doing now? War! Be quiet. Crazy bastard. The Dokibis of Chungnuro are freaking out because of you. I had a headache from the messages of the constellations that rang in my head. The constellation prisoner of the golden headband likes your recklessness. The constellation Bald General of Justice likes your revolution. The constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon likes the destruction and chaos. 300 coins have been sponsored. Why, you bastard? Kill them! The alliance members shouted at us. I started running down to the platform with Lee Hyun-sung. The exclusive skill, Character List, is activated. Character List. Name, Lee Hyun-sung. Attribute, person who has regained justice, rare. Stigma, Great Mountain Smash LV1, Great Mountain Push LV2. Exclusive skills, Bayonet Skills LV2, Camouflage LV2, Patience LV1, Sense of Justice LV2, Weapons Training LV3. The evolution of Lee Hyun-sung was successful. Strictly speaking, it was just the start. But the fact that Lee Hyun-sung could use Great Mountain Smash would quickly enhance the power of the party. Hyun-sung-sai, how many more times can you use it? Probably once or twice more. Lee Hyun-sung was gasping for breath and obviously quite worn out. It was natural. The Great Mountain Smash stigma was an ultimate skill that consumed a tremendous amount of stamina and magic power. There weren't many skills that exceeded Great Mountain Smash when it came to pure physical force among the physical reinforcement type skills. The group of people scattered all over the place seemed to be running in this direction. I asked Yo Sanga, who was running in the front. Was there anywhere you couldn't break? I broke both of them. I didn't realize the rooms could be broken like this. We banged hard on the ground together and it smashed. Jung Hee-won followed. Yo Sanga, Jung Hee-won and Lee Gil-young took out the small green zones. Most of the green zones fit 3 or fewer people, apart from Gong Pil-doo's green zone. There was an ambiguous scale, but there was a separate person handling those. Hey! Can't you hear me? What are you going to do now? On the other hand, Bi-hyung was still shouting across the Dokkibi communication. What are you worried about? Have you forgotten? I don't have the only channel in Chungnyeoro. Do you really not know what will happen if you do this? Of course I knew. Maybe the constellations in the channel with Gong Pil-doo would be in a frenzy right now. What channel is Gong Pil-doo in? Biryu's channel. Beer 3642. Biryu is the one who came while you were busy for a bit. That's right. That asshole. How is his subscription configured? It is the flagship channel for the Finding Amusement group. The Dokkibis whose main purpose was to find amusement. That's why their broadcasts were radical. Great. Then the response within the channel would be much hotter than expected. Everyone would have eaten the sweet potatoes properly. I headed down the stairs of the transfer corridor to line 4 and saw a welcome face. The blade was moving through the air. You broke them? Yes. It was easy. Lee Ji-hai's role was to take out the green zones that contained 5 to 8 people. It was a task that Jung Hee-won would find hard to do alone. Indeed, she was Yo Jong-hyuk's disciple and was the incarnation of the sage hero. Now there were no more green zones left in Chungnyeoro. Now what? Those jerks will come running wildly. Ah, there they are. Lee Ji-hai's expression twisted as she looked behind me. I'm not going to help you this time. I don't need it. Jung Hee-won scowled as she watched Lee Ji-hai retreating. What is with her? Come to think of it, Jung Hee-won didn't know about Lee Ji-hai. But there was no time to tell her. Haha, you are fucked now. A message was heard along with Bi-hyung's words. A bounty scenario has occurred. Bounty scenario, Assassination Commission. Category, Sub. Difficulty, C. Clear conditions. The constellations of channel #BIR 3642 have requested to kill a certain person. Please kill Kim Dokja of Chungnyeoro Station. Time limit, 10 minutes. Compensation, 2,000 coins. Failure, none. I thought this situation would unfold. It was going to be a lot of fun. Now all the incarnations in the region would gather on the platform of line 3 to catch me. Jung Hee-won asked by his side. I will receive 2,000 coins if I kill Dokja-sai right now. Why, are you going to kill me? Perhaps. If you give me 200,000 coins then I don't know. Does this girl know how much 200,000 coins were worth? Dokja-sai. Go behind me. Lee Hyun-sung stepped out ahead of me. Jung Hee-won stayed beside me while Yo Sang-ga and Lee Gil-young moved to block any access. It was a defense formed around me. Jung Hee-won smiled. Now I can pay back my debt. Dokja-sai will try to block it somehow. There were people showing hostility around us. The angry landowners and the tenants were blinded by the bounty quest. I watched Lee Gil-young holding the weapon and open my mouth. Don't be nervous. I lightly stroked Lee Gil-young's shoulder and moved towards the railway tracks. We don't have to fight them. It was a few turns. I had read about such a scene. I didn't have time to check which regression it was, but Yo Jong-hyuk had destroyed the green zones as soon as he arrived at Chungnyeoro. Even then, it was like the current situation. All green zones in this region have been destroyed and the main scenario has collapsed. The difficulty is automatically adjusted according to the remaining schedule of the scenario. The scenario content is updated. Main scenario number 3, Emergency Defense. Category, Main. Difficulty, B. Clear conditions. All the green zones in the region are destroyed and the monsters that were going to be created in the remaining days have suddenly run wild. Survive against the flood of monsters for the remaining time. Duration, 8 hours. Compensation, 1,000 coins. Failure. Originally, there were 3 days remaining in the scenario. Now the monsters supposed to be created during the remaining time of the green zone scenario would emerge all at once. In other words, it was simple. The emergency defense has begun. The defense game had started. What? The people approaching me started screaming. The cries of monsters were heard from outside the screen door. The feast of monsters moved like an angry wave. Crazy! What the hell is this? The platform of Line 3 quickly became a mess. The faces of the people became speculative as they watched the monsters coming from all sides. The bounty scenario was completely forgotten about. Growling. A few grolls ran and bit some of the Alliance members. The upset people were shouting. Now was the only chance. I shouted to my party. Go to the transfer route. I started jumping up the transit stairs with my friends. By the time we reached the upper level, people were blocking the path. What? Get out of the way. Do you want to fall? I kicked some of the followers and pulled out a blade. The people were surprised by the white Pure Star energy blade and backed away. You haven't grasped the situation yet. What? Even if you come up, you won't be able to survive. There was a sense of despair in the expressions of the people. There were no more rooms. Now there were no more safe zones from the monsters in Chungnuro. What should we do? What else? Fight. Don't speak crazy words. This is all because of you. If you hadn't broken our rooms. I triggered the Blade of Faith and used it on the transfer stairs. Quarrering. Uwak. The center of the staircase fell with a large sound, along with the people. It was cruel but necessary. Crazy! Quickly find another staircase. Quickly! Well, I don't think it would happen. Lee Hyun-sung was already running. I smashed the transit stairs we came up on and there was only one staircase remaining. Subsequently, the sound of arguing and something breaking was heard on the other side. Shit! War! The cries of the people trapped on the platform of Line 3 were heard. Lee Ji-hai approached me and asked, "A juicy? This isn't what you told me. If you leave it like this." I know. I looked at the lower floor that was becoming pandemonium. If I left it like this, they would all be killed. Whether it was from the monsters or using each other's bodies as a stepping stone to come upstairs. This wasn't what I wanted. The exclusive skill bookmark can now be activated. Character bookmarks is activated. Available bookmark slots, 3. Bringing up the list of available bookmarks. People listed in the bookmark slots. The Delusion Demon Kim Namwoon, understanding 35. Steel Sword Lee Hyun-sung, understanding 65. Demagogue Cheon In-ho, understanding 20. I activated the third bookmark. The number 3 bookmark has been activated. The level of the bookmark skill is low, shortening the activation time. Activation time, 5 minutes. Your understanding of the character is low, so only a part of the character's skill is activated. Insight LV.2 has been activated. Suddenly, it felt like my tongue was coming alive on its own. This was how Cheon In-ho felt. I looked downstairs. In the middle of the mess, I could see a middle-aged man. "Hey Gong Pildu. How long are you going to stand there?" Gong Pildu glared at me. "This dog. Don't you have to act in order to live? If you move, everyone else can live." The power of insight permeated the ears of all the frightened people. Pildu-sai. Pildu-sai, please save us." Gong Pildu's expression distorted. I felt good. This was what Cheon In-ho would have felt at Gumho Station. The third scenario isn't as hard as you think. Once everyone gives up on the rooms and participates in the defense, there are enough people to handle the monsters. My words were half true. If Chungmuro had united before I arrived here, there would be far less victims. After all, the biggest pitfall of this scenario was the green zone. If Gong Pildu fights with the people, you can survive. Those who fight together would survive, those who ran away would die. The sponsor behind Lee Ji-hai agrees with your wisdom. The constellation Maritime War God nods his head. Now there are no rooms for you to run away to. Forget about whether you are a landlord or tenant and fight. Or you will all die. The more urgent the situation was, the more the effect of insight would increase. Damn, this fucking guy. Pildusai. Please help us. The Alliance members gathered around Gong Pildu. If he ran away here alone, Gong Pildu's landlord alliance would collapse. In the end, Gong Pildu made his decision. Damn it. Everybody gather here. The people downstairs started gathering around Gong Pildu. I need time to install a new armed zone. Everybody just hang on. The key was Gong Pildu's armed zone. However, the weak point was that armed zone took time to install every time it moved. Blood splattered everywhere and people screamed as their limbs were torn off. Aeg. As expected, the first ones who abandoned the formation were the tenants, not the Alliance members. Yo Sangasai. Yes. Please leave it to me. I didn't need to explain it. Yosanga already understood what she needed to do. Her binding thread stretched out and started to rescue the people who couldn't fight anymore. In any case, their mission was to buy time for Gong Pildu to deploy armed zone. Thank you. The tenants hung from the threat and were pulled upstairs. The rescued tenants were shaking as they wrapped up their injured area. In the meantime, some of the people with weapons carefully looked at me. I smiled at them and said, "Oh, do you want the bounty?" The time limit for the bounty scenario has expired. The bounty hanging on Kim Dokja has been destroyed. Sorry, it is too late. I'm sorry. The tenants seemed ashamed as they put away their weapons. I heard Gong Pildu's voice roaring from the bottom. Out of the way. The character Gong Pildu has used Armed Zone LV3. The character Gong Pildu has activated Armed Zone LV4. There was a mechanical sound as 5 turrets rose from the ground. The red magic bullets condensed in a short time and started firing. Do-do-do-do-do. Quang. 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 The ground rats screamed as they were hit by the bombardment of magic bullets while the growls came to a halt. The group of people cried out. As expected of Pildusai. War! It was truly Gong Pildu. In a defense-type scenario, there was no incarnation that surpassed a player's combat effectiveness. The 10 evils weren't called that for nothing. All of you damn scum disappear. The agitated Gong Pildu randomly fired. Lee Hyun-sung spoke with admiration. It is a really tremendous stigma. Is it okay when the magic power consumption is so big? It is a good stigma, so it will be okay for a while. Should we help? Gong Pildu alone is sufficient. If we do down, then he will be distracted and stop shooting. The defense master sponsor behind Gong Pildu was completely suited for this type of scenario. As long as he supported Gong Pildu wouldn't die here. As long as the sponsorship continued. I sat down and stretched out my legs. We will be sucking honey for a while. Is it time for personal maintenance already? Lee Hyun-sung sat down with me and the party members started to relax one by one. Jung Hee-won asked. Thank you. I didn't get enough sleep, can I sleep now? Yes. 10 minutes later, Jung Hee-won was lying on the ground and snoring. I said yes, but I really didn't know how she could sleep so easily. Ain't we too easygoing? Yo Sanga sounded concerned. Indeed, it would be confusing. There wasn't a scenario like this so far. In fact, all we did was survive the brink of a crisis. Think of it as standing on the right line. Then over there. They got the wrong line. The confusion on the lower level had almost died down because of Gong Pildu. Do-do-do-do-do. Ooh-wah. He should have lived a better life. Fuck. Fuyukas. In the midst of the endless procession of monsters, Gong Pildu's screams echoed. Chapter 35, Episode 8, Emergency Defense, 4. 1 hour after the battle began, Gong Pildu fought and fought. The number of monsters had barely decreased, but it was still great. Gong Pildu was considered to have the strongest defense among the 10 evils for a reason. You scum! The character Gong Pildu's armed zone has leveled up. The character Gong Pildu's private land has leveled up. The character Gong Pildu has acquired the protective wall skill. The level up speed of armed zone was fast. The sponsor behind Gong Pildu was rushing to support his growth. If he could survive here, Gong Pildu's growth would be enormous. As long as he could survive here. Yui. According to the scenario, Gong Pildu had to hold on for 7 more hours. It would have been nice if I had popcorn. Too bad. Li Jihai was giggling next to me as she watched the bottom floor. She told me earlier that I should save them. It was truly a transformation in the disposition of Yo Jonghyuk's disciple. By the way, why isn't Yo Jonghyuk here? How should I know? Master is always busy. Busy? Yes, he might be busy. The person trying to be all alone was the busiest. I looked down at the dying Gong Pildu as I asked, what time did Yo Jonghyuk enter the dungeon? It is roughly 9 a.m. today. Li Jihai stopped speaking and stared at me. Wait a minute, how do you know that Master entered a dungeon? I ignored Li Jihai and calculated the time. Now it was 8 p.m. Using simple calculations, it had already been over 11 hours since Yo Jonghyuk entered. Yet he still hadn't come out. Damn, I had to move. Yo Jonghyuk was the main character and it would be difficult if something happened to him. I opened the Dokkibi communication. Bi-hyung. Bi-hyung floating in the air turned to look at me. What is it? Calling me so suddenly. Open the Dokkibi bag. What? No. I am currently getting a lot of subscriptions. I know. My stock price was rising due to my actions with Gong Pildu. My actions of laying a trap and then sitting back meant the constellations of the Fun Seekers group wouldn't still be on the channel which Gong Pildu belonged to. Where would the constellations go after leaving the channel? New constellations have entered the channel. It was naturally Bi-hyung's channel. #BI7623 channel is ready for an expansion. Hoo hut. Look at this, look at this. Now my channel is also. It wasn't unreasonable for Bi-hyung to be acting like this. But this wasn't the time for amusement. If you don't want your channel to be ruined, open it quickly. You can see that there will be an advertisement in preparation for the channel expansion. Ah, shit, really? Bi-hyung grumbled but opened the Dokkibi bag after showing an advertisement. It was finally time to use the coins I had saved. I'll give you 5,000 coins. Upgrade me to a gold member. Bi-hyung stared at me quietly inside. It was followed by system messages. 5,000 coins have been consumed. Congratulations. You have become a gold member of the Dokkibi bag. My member rating changed and the background of the Dokkibi bag also changed. Coins were really good. New item listings were added. I put the necessary items into the shopping cart. Behind the scenes contract, 10,000 C. Intermediate magic power recovery potion X 10 to 5,000 C. 1 contract and 10 intermediate potions, this should be enough. The spending was a bit big but the channel was going to be expanded. It wouldn't be long before I recovered it. Bi-hyung was nervous when he saw the items I bought. Why is there a contract? Have you already forgotten the terms? You can't have a sponsor. What do you mean? Why would I get a sponsor now? Even if I was doing that, why would I buy the contract with my own coins? At any rate, this Bi-hyung still needed a lot of work. 15,000 coins have been consumed. A behind-the-scenes contract has been acquired. 10 intermediate magic power recovery potions have been acquired. Yo Sanga showed curiosity when the items appeared out of thin air. What is that? A contract to make a gap annual. I filled out the contract carefully, wrote my name in the gaps section and waited quietly. It was time for the yule to come. The sponsor for character Gong Pildu is asking for help from nearby constellations. Finally, the sponsor behind Gong Pildu reached his limits and started sending messages outside the channel. It was natural since the sponsor didn't have many coins in the first place. Not everybody was rich just because they were a constellation. The constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband scoffs. The other constellations in Gong Pildu's channel would have stopped sponsoring and the incarnation was dying. Everything was going according to plan. Bi-Hyung noticed something and muttered, "Wait a minute, surely you aren't?" I talked towards Gong Pildu, who was in a half-dead state. "Hey, you over there!" Do. Gong Pildu fired crazily and looked up at me while breathing heavily. "Will you die like this or will you sign a contract with me?" What? "I'm not a constellation so I can't be a sponsor. But if you want, I can be a person behind the scenes. How about it?" "What is this bastard talking about?" "Gong Pildu, shut up. I'm not talking to you." "What?" I waved the contract in one hand and the intermediate magic power recovery potion in the other hand. "Answer quickly. I will give these items to you if you sign with me." A message window flashed in front of me. The sponsor behind character Gong Pildu has revealed himself. The Constellation Defense Master is looking at you like you are crazy. Indeed. He wasn't yet ready to be in Yule. Don't worry. He would be in a hurry as time passed. Bi-Hyung was watching me. Are you crazy? This one as well. You are the first to try and support a constellation. I can't do it. This is a constellation. Will it sign with an insignificant human? That is just your thoughts. The intermediate constellation, Defense Master. He was a low-level constellation compared to his ability. His world had long become a scenario and was completely destroyed. Therefore, the Defense Master's myth was no longer discussed. The myth had disappeared and the constellation couldn't get coins. One day, even his existence would disappear. That's why some constellations, including the Defense Master, were obsessed with looking for an incarnation. The constellations were remembered in the world through their chosen incarnation. That guy, he doesn't have any coins left. What? Gong Pildu's power had fallen sharply compared to before. Unlike the monarch of the small fries, the Defense Master was someone who cared about his incarnation. The fact that Gong Pildu was going to die meant he had run out of coins. It was obvious, but without coins, a new sponsor contract was impossible. Then what happened to a constellation who couldn't create a new incarnation? Once Gong Pildu dies, that guy will be forgotten. For a constellation, being forgotten meant death. Faint fear filled Bi-Hyung's eyes. You are? Gong Pildu was a great card if I could afford it. Even Yo Jonghyuk had attempted to subjugate Gong Pildu several times in countless regressions. Of course, he had never been successful. Yo Sanga spoke. Dr. Sai, that person will die. Gong Pildu was biting his lips so hard that blood was flowing. Now there were only 2 mini-turrets left in armed zone. It was time to end this. The Constellation Defense Master is wondering about the contents of the contract. He was coming. Bi-Hyung's eyes widened at the sight in front of him. Really? No, is this real? I showed the contract immediately. The Constellation Defense Master has started reading the contract. Gong Pildu, who was shedding blood on the lower floor, suddenly shouted. He had probably heard a message from his sponsor. What? What is this message? What? He was being sold. What is going on, Pildu Sai? The Constellation Defense Master is asking for some time to think. After a while, I heard some good news. The Constellation Defense Master has added a condition to the contract. If you agree with this condition, the Constellation Defense Master will agree to contract with you. I immediately read the contract. 14. Incarnation Kim Dokja, Gap, recognizes the property rights of Constellation Defense Master, Yule, and should ensure the survival of Gong Pildu. 15. Incarnation Kim Dokja, Gap, should help Constellation Defense Master, Yule, so that his private property Gong Pildu grows well. Guaranteeing Gong Pildu's life and his growth. In fact, this didn't need to be included. It was natural for Gong Pildu not to die if the contract was signed. The only thing that mattered for me was the third condition. 3. Incarnation Kim Dokja, Gap, has a command authority over Gong Pildu, the private property of Constellation Defense Master, up to 10 times a day. I checked the contract and nodded. I will sign the contract. Before long, a faint thread connected me and Gong Pildu. Then system messages were heard. The contract has been completed. You have become the co-sponsor of Gong Pildu due to the contract. Due to the contract, you have been given the right to command Incarnation Gong Pildu. The duration of the contract is 5 years and it won't be automatically renewed. Yo Jonghyuk would be stunned if he knew that Gong Pildu could be obtained so easily. If I hadn't read to the latter half of Ways of Survival, I wouldn't have known to use the behind-the-scenes contract this way. I handed the recovery potions to Yo Sanga. Give this to Gong Pildu. You should give him one every 40 minutes. It is okay to give to him. She had to give it. If not, this main scenario wouldn't be cleared. Gong Pildu was confused after Yo Sanga handed him a potion. What is this? Drink it and fight. Gong Pildu was suspicious for a moment but soon opened the potion's lid. Blue smoke emerged around his body and the destroyed turrets returned to their original appearance. The character Gong Pildu has completely recovered his magic power. Gong Pildu wiped the potion-stained lips and looked up at me. Stupid guy. Do you think I will forgive you because of this? Once I get out of here, it will be your end. Shut up, Gong Pildu. Under the terms of the contract, command rights is activated. Oh if? Poor guy, he didn't even know what situation he was in. Fight hard. Don't touch my party members. Hup. Do. Yo Sanga's eyes widened when she saw Gong Pildu listen to my orders. D. Dokjasai? Why is that person? I made a gap into a null. Did you write something? Now you can rest assured about Gong Pildu. Then the bombardment of messages from the constellations poured out. The constellation's secretive plotter finds your idea interesting. The constellation prisoner of the golden headband has dropped his stick at your strategy. The constellation abyssal black flame dragon thinks that you are impudent. I had secretly signed the contract but these guys already noticed. The defense master was only intermediate level but he was still a constellation. A mere human became a co-sponsor with a constellation, the impact on the constellations would be enormous. There would be a backlash among those like the abyssal black flame dragon. But many constellations are paying attention to you. A number of constellations want to become your sponsor. The constellations who realized my value were overwhelmingly larger. If they became my sponsor, they would be able to use the power of Defense Master. Then the owner of Gong Pildu's channel, Dokibi Biryu, appeared in the air. Constellations. Why, are you suddenly leaving? Didn't he go? Just wait a little longer. Biryu, whose channel was being ruined, made a desperate appeal. It was the Dokibi who created the food penalty and survival cost in Gumho Station. Hayek. No. Dokibi Biryu gradually blurred and disappeared. Channel #BIR 3642 has been forced to leave after having the subscriptions reduced. Bi-hyung muttered in a trembling voice after seeing one channel falling to ruin. Excuse me, Dokjanim. What is it? Were you aiming for Gong Pildu from the beginning? I shrugged. Crazy, human, what human did I sign with? Bi-hyung couldn't close his mouth. I didn't care. This place was organized and I needed to move on to the next place. I spoke to the bewildered party members who still hadn't grasped the situation. Everyone. I'm sorry but I have to leave for a while. Here? Now? There is a place I urgently need to go to. Hyunsengsai and Yo Sangasai, please stay here. You don't have to do anything. Just throw Pildu a potion until the end of the scenario and relax. Jung Hee-won asked, "What about Gil-young and I?" "You will come with me." "To where?" "It is hard to explain, but there is a bad guy." "A bad guy?" "Yes. A bad person who disappeared to eat items alone, regardless if people die or not. From now on, I am going to hit him in the back of the head." It was very hard. Jung Hee-won thought for a moment before asking, "Is he worse than Gong Pil-do?" I contemplated for a moment before replying, "He is much worse." "Then let's go. I'll explain the details later." I moved with Jung Hee-won and Lee Gil-young. Then somebody grabbed my shoulder. It was Lee Ji-hai. "Wait, where are you going right now?" In any case, this was good. "Great. You can come along." "Where are you going?" "Yo Jong-hyuk is in danger." Lee Ji-hai laughed like she thought I was joking. "What nonsense are you saying? Master is in danger?" My expression remained serious and Lee Ji-hai's laughter soon disappeared. "Are you serious?" "No, how do you know this?" "How did I know?" Perhaps I was the world's foremost, no, the second highest authority who knew her master. I checked the time. "That jerk, he went to the hidden dungeon at exit 1. "You are? And it has been 11 hours since he entered." Lee Ji-hai spoke blankly. I remembered that Yo Jong-hyuk had attacked Chung Neuro's hidden dungeon a total of 8 years. He failed twice and succeeded 6 times. The problem was that the 2 failures were concentrated in his early regressions. The 8th turn and the 11th turn. During the 8th regression, Yo Jong-hyuk died in Chung Neuro's hidden dungeon. But the current Yo Jong-hyuk was the 3rd turn. At this rate, Yo Jong-hyuk will die today. If my guess was right, our damn regressor would be on the sunfish route. TL note, seems to be based on the game Survive. Mola Mola, where you have to make a sunfish survive troubles in the sea. But the sunfish gets started and dies because of almost anything.